Today I fucked up by being honest about how I'm feeling. So this is still an active TIFU. T means today, not this one time, many moons ago after all. My wife has been off with me all day. Apparently because I've been moody. Personally, yeah, a bit frustrated but nothing overly bad. She likes to tell me I'm in a bad mood when I'm like is always helpful, but whatever. Our youngest kid is 1 year old, full of snot, always has a cold thanks to childcare, but a happy little guy generally, but also in that stage between 1 and 2 naps during the day. Parents all know what I mean. So today, he's been a bit grizzly and it was a bit frustrating not being able to really enjoy our weekends together. But that's just life with kids. Still frustrating. Every time I talk it seems to her that I'm having a go at her or criticizing. I'm not, but she either doesn't believe me, B doesn't listen to me. I have told her in many occasions that I'm sorry if I'm talking like I am, and I will try not to say anything or to say things in a more upbeat tone. At least I honestly don't think I sound any different, but maybe I do. She still doesn't believe me. Anyway, she's been kinda yelling at me a lot more for the last 1.5 years now, so halfway through pregnancy I accepted it as hormonal and whatever, no worries. But that also made me not really want to sleep with her too, as it's kinda unattractive and belittling being yelled at, so we haven't really been having sex much in that time either, plus our older kid tends to find her way into our bed at some point in the night too. Anyway, the foo came today when she's told me how much I've been awful today and all that, and she said that we don't have sex anymore, and I mentioned that her yelling isn't very attractive and I don't want to sleep with someone I'm not attracted to. Mind you, I do find her physically attractive, but you know, she doesn't make me feel very sexy with the way she yells at me. Doors slammed, yelling intensifies, tears, divorce being screamed about, things thrown, told that if she had somewhere to go she would leave and never see me again, ruining her life, etc. So now I'm sleeping in the spare room, not sure why me trying to be honest with her meant I had to leave, but there we go, was happy to share the bed still. We're early mid-40s. Been together over 20 years. 2 young kids. And it might be all falling apart. TLDR told me wife that all her yelling made me not want to sleep with her and made everything worse. Bro, this is way above Reddit's pay grade. Seems like y'all could use couples counseling, or something that can help you find a healthier way to communicate. First years of parenting put a huge strain on every relationship. That shit ain't easy. Communication is key, and delivery is an important part of that. Step 1: stop coming on Reddit for advice. At least half of what you will get on here is going to make your situation worse. Step 2: seek professional intervention, therapy, counseling, etc. It sounds like you guys are in a tough spot, and having a professional help you sort things out can help you guys get back in the same page. Wishing you a positive outcome. Definitely a couples therapy situation. I'm sorry you're going through this. Miscommunication is hard enough, but you also have the stress of kids. I'd clarify to her that you still find her physically attractive, but when she yells at you it hurts you so much that you feel yourself pulling away from her. It's perfectly normal not to want to be physical with someone when you keep expecting them to escalate the situation. But she needs to want to come to the table. She will need to listen, and possibly work on trusting what you say. My wife is kind like this. She has an insane sex drive and is smoking hot but yells all the time, and it just turns an off switch in me. Told her many times, but it seems ingrained in her and she hasn't changed. I will triple the whole seek professional help if you can afford it. Also, to commiserate. Having 2 small children at the same time is hard. It put a ton of external stress on my relationship with my wife. And, while communication is key, you can start this process by apologizing. Not for not finding someone who yells at you unattractive, just, don't even bring that up. Apologize for hurting her feelings, which I am sure was not your intention. Settle the bad blood now. Then, get to a marriage counselor. Having a neutral third party can help a ton. Wife angry you won't have sex. Op yelling makes me not want to. Wife I'll show you yelling. There's a book called Non-Violent Communication that help with these tough conversations sometimes. Other times it's a lost cause. Book has been around forever and I'm sure there's a bunch of great summary sites out there as the book is very repetitive. 3-step communication. Google and try that. Most only listen enough to respond or defend. So they never try to understand what you say. Sounds like how she is perceiving you is kicking up something from her past. Disclaimer: I'm just an old guy, not a frink, counselor, or mental health pro. I didn't even sleep in a Holiday Inn Express last night. It sounds like you guys have no clue how to communicate, despite being together for 20 years. Congrats on the active today I fucked up, happens so rarely you deserve unlimited rewards. Postpartum depression combined with the stress of parenting and normal life can have this effect. Get a marriage counselor, that's what they're there for. Probably not the best move to say you're not attracted to her. Just because she's doing something unattractive to you doesn't mean you aren't attracted to her. Honestly though, I've found whenever my wife and I are snippy with one another, sex is a great unifier. That intimacy helps soften each other for sure. If the roles were reversed, you'd probably be told you are abusive and manipulative. I don't think there's ever an excuse to yell at your partner and throw things, and I've had extreme mental health issues and 2 kids with even more health issues and PPD. I know everyone's different, but actions have consequences. I agree with everyone that therapy is required. But I'd also be gathering evidence of this horrific behavior. Also, I'd say don't tell your wife you aren't attracted to her. Just focus on the behavior negatively affecting you. That would hurt anyone. Literally me and my husband, he's the one constantly grumbling and complaining, and then if I don't sound ecstatic about something he goes off. I don't find it sexy. I don't feel emotionally safe around him. For this and a myriad of other reasons, we've just separated, 10 years into what has been a rocky marriage. Statements, look it up, it will really help. 20 years, 2 kids, recommend a marriage counselor and hope things work out for the both of you. 2 options. Relationship counseling or divorce. Up to you. It blows my mind how the responses change depending on if op is male or female. If op was a woman talking about how her husband screamed at her, threw things because he couldn't control himself and was emotionally abusive, the advice would be divorce and run away. Because the domestic abuser is a woman, it get therapy and stick it out. Couples counseling. Sounds like she grew up in a rough family and potentially suffered abuse. It's anecdotal and not worth much, but that specific sort of girlfriend-wife tone policing of their partner in that specific way is something I've only ever seen in people I know who came from experiencing regular aggression as a child growing up. PTSD, hypervigilance, and hair trigger defensiveness. She sounds awful to deal with. So, to me the biggest foo you did was the way how it was worded. Like you did not say about the yelling, just that you find her unattractive and with 2 young kids to a woman that can be devastating to hear. I also feel you are being a bit defensive on your part of this. Like seems you are putting the blame on her and the kids partly. I would say look for professional help and look at yourself if you want to keep going or not. I'm reading these comments and I feel like I'm the only one that feels like OP is dense. If the quote is generally at the level of things he says, I don't really blame her for yelling at him. Sure, he didn't yell, but it's just as emotionally tolling. Edit grammar. Bro, you tried disarming a bomb by throwing a hand grenade at it. As someone that has a toddler and went through all of that, you guys need to speak to a couple counselor ASGDMFP. We did and it really helped. She told you that the way you talk to her seems passive-aggressive and has a criticizing undertone. Your response is I don't think so. Are you serious? You didn't even try to acknowledge that this is an issue, but you are complaining that she is the one not listening to you. Way to lose your partner, wife, and mother of your children. At least that was one of the ways my ex lost me. Good luck. Sexual intimacy requires a sense of safety, which is hard to achieve when one or both of you are yelling. Not that you could have formulated this sentence in that moment, but I think this is what you were meaning to say. As Satan said, get marriage counseling. You guys are stronger than this, and will make it through this, but you both have to believe it for it to be true. Dude, I was in the same boat. Couples therapy is a must if you want to make any progress in that front. It helped in many aspects with my relationship, but I'm still having doubts. Maybe you'll fail.